Welcome to this Arrow Cloud Provider webinar series. It's going to be a Nordic one, this one. And today we're going to talk about PSO and TAM and how these resources and VMware can help you as a service provider. And we have invited Tony Mark to talk about PSO. And last we will have Tom tell about TAM. But maybe you can get started, Tom.
Thank you, Anita. Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Smock. I'm the Nordic Sales Manager within VMware for professional services. I've been in VMware for 4 years, and I'm commercial responsible for the services we do in the Nordics, which is consulting services, education services, and TAM business. After this presentation, Tom Bratton will make an introduction and presentation of our TAM services. So I will not talk a lot about the TAM operations we have within Nordics and for our service providers. But let me introduce you to professional services as an overall picture. So when VMware Worldwide Professional Services is a rather large organization within VMware, out of the 22,000 employees which are in VMware globally. So approximately 2,000 people are working within the PSO organization, spread over Americas, EMEA, APJ, and in different functions. We have a quite good score card on customer satisfaction, which you see on the left side, where for consulting we have a score on customer satisfaction on 61, and our TAM business is doing quite well with a very nice score on 74. And as you can see, our TAM operations are really a trusted advisor to our clients and service providers. But Tom will go into more details what is a technical account manager kind of role and what activities those are doing. Down here you see we have in VMware as a total a solution focused on modernized data center, empower digital workspaces, transform network and security, and integrate public clouds. And that's what PSO is doing, is to help our technology sales in implementing those focus areas, making sure that we are having the right skill sets, can drive larger projects where needed, and so forth. So PSO is not to drive a consulting organization as itself, but is to help the business or VMware business to create deals where customer gets value, service providers gets value out of the investment in VMware. On the other side, you see here practices. And this is the list of practices I will go a little through in a minute. But all, we have an advisory services practice where we have a sponsored consultants that can help service providers and customers in building business cases, setting some high-level long-term strategies for enabling VMware technology. We have our consulting services who help our customers in implementing more advanced projects. Based on VMware technologies. We have technical account managers. We have Global Migration Center, which is a center in Singapore, who does a worldwide deployment of migration jobs, where you want to move workloads from one place to another place. And then we have remote delivery. We have 2 remote delivery services. I will come back to one we have out of Sofia in Bulgaria, where we have a center of excellence on automation and cloud services, and especially for service provider business. And then we also have remote delivery services out of Egypt, where we have more easier deployments, which can be done remotely. And then finally, we have a whole education setup that you probably is aware of, that where you can certify your consultants or your own people. Then we have a very much important part, our partner ecosystem, where you are an important partner to VMware. We have a big market opportunity there. We are having opportunities in selling credits through you, and so forth. So as it's stated here, our vision is to accelerate adoption of VMware technology through our engagement with our consultants and create business value for our customers. By the way, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to interrupt me if you have any questions during the presentation. If we go into more depth of the different solution areas, then I was mentioning our advisory services, which is running the strategic approach and the planning approach with our customers, where we are driving also a selling approach on what we call IT value model. I will present that for you in a minute, which goes hand in hand with our advisory services. Then we have our integration practice, where we use our consulting services to implement what we call lighthouse projects, so advanced services where, for instance, a new technology comes into to the VMware portfolio, and we don't have enough skills in the partner ecosystem. Then PSO consulting comes in and help the customer and service providers in deploying more advanced services. Or if it's a critical project for the service providers, then VMware takes ownership of the project as well. Then we have the optimization advocacy. This is where our technical account managers comes in place with, and then we have education, training, and development, which goes hand in hand with both our TAM setup, integration setup, and so forth. The terms when we are talking about consulting services, I think it's important for me just to highlight how do we operate on a practical matter. So we work on statement of works on one side, which means that we have either a time and material or fixed fee statement of work that describes what VMware is going to deliver and what is the terms and conditions and what is the pricing for that. On the other hand, we do have what we call time banks, or we do PS engage, which is a quick and dirty statement of work where you just buy resources as the opposite. Then we have fixed fee and time and material. So fixed fee is a project where you expect VMware to take ownership of a complete transformation project. So we do that for some of our service providers in EMEA, where we help them in building a cloud automation project where we take responsibility end to end. And that is where the customer expects, the service provider expects that we make sure it works when we've done the job. And that's why they want us to take all the risk, and hence we do a fixed fee where there is a certain contingency baked into the deal. On the other hand, we have time and material, where we are working with the customer on a certain scope, but the scope is not fixed and the level of effort is not fixed if changes will happen along the project evaluation. But the risk here is on whether we're going to do a change request or not is on the customer side. Then we have deliverables versus residency TAM. Deliverables is what we do under a fixed fee project. We are committed to deliver deliverables against a milestone plan, and where we are when we are finalized when the customer accepts the milestone. Whereas in the residency and TAM, the residency is more loosely connected, where he works according to what the customer asks him to do. We also work with credits and cash, but for you guys, VCPP points is of importance. So we can do statement of works with VCPP points that you then can transfer to your operational business based on your VMware platform. So that's a new thing we have created within our PSO practice. Maybe I should say we have established a PSO practice for service providers on a global basis, and on a EMEA basis we have built that up recently, where my manager Jan Kaufmann is running that practice, which means that we have a complete focus on VCPP customers, where we know there's special conditions applying for adapting points to the SAO, but adapting special services to service providers, because you have end users on your side. So we are very much eager to build up that practice, and every feedback from you is I'll appreciate when we're doing hopefully some consulting business together with you. Then we have what we call prime contractor, subcontractor. We could do engagements together where you are priming and VMware is subcontracting. We have also, which is I think important for our service providers, we do both projects, which is agile based or waterfall based. So if you are building up an agile delivery organization, then we are capable in doing projects under the agile methodology. And then we of course have the sell to sell with, and I think that you have been through with our VCPP sales reps. And then we have value selling, product sell. Value selling, I will come back to that in a minute with our IT value model. Any questions so far? Okay, let's move on. So we have in PSO, we have developed a value model where we have gathered the last 10 years engagements PSO have done with customers and capture that into a database with plenty of use cases. I think we have about a database with about 300 to 350 use cases. And from that, we could see a pattern of different values that we have created for customers based on all those engagements we have done and the customer feedback we have got and so forth. So we have transformed the way we want to sell our solutions to our customers into understanding what is the business problem at the customer side. So we are running this approach. We want to understand what is, and that could be you as a service provider. This could also be that we are talking to the customer together at your end user end customer. But we could set up a conversation with you. What is your actual business problem you're facing? You from the IT side, how do you want to solve those problems from an IT perspective? What is the expectation from the business you to deliver? So what is the outcomes you think you from an IT perspective should deliver? And when we have those two things discussed with you, then we are able to help you in listing the IT capabilities of what is needed to meet the business problem and sort out the IT problems. And that is based on the database I mentioned for you, our solution builder database, where we have all those use cases presented. And there we, from that, can define, okay, this is the services needed to execute on this business problem and meet the IT problem. And from that, then we can come up with a service description where we stipulate the business outcome that you will get from meeting the IT capabilities that are addressing your business problems. And from that, we have actually done several engagements with customers and service providers and build some very interesting scenarios up where we have gone through business pains which was now solved by IT in a manner that was not invented or even thought about at the IT side that could be doable. I will give you some example. We have divided the solution sets into three areas. We see it an infrastructure provider, a business partner, a digital enterprise. And this can go both for a service provider or an end user. There is some dependency in this model, which means that if you see yourself as a virtual infrastructure provider, but you want to move up to deliver infrastructure as a services or platform as a services, we have a framework and experiences that then you need to define a private cloud first before you can move on to an infrastructure as a service. The same goes with if you want to go a DevOps way, then you still need to define your private cloud and infrastructure as a services, even a platform as a service before you can move on to a DevOps situation. So this is the overall framework which we are then defining with the customer where they are today and where they would like to go in the future. And from this, we can build a roadmap based on the capabilities we will list through a workshop with the customer. That is here an example on how we scope. Here is an example of how we can scope a private cloud and come up with a suggestion of what capabilities are needed. You will see here you have a customer problem and you have outcomes in the middle, and then from that we can define capabilities we have identified in previous engagements, and then we come up with some solution elements when those are defined. We can do this in a one-day workshop. So we would like to propose for you, if you have either some important business pains that you would like to sort out and you see you want some help from PSO and your account team, or you have a customer that you are tight engaged with and the customer has some certain pains you think you can help with a technology solution from VMware, then we would really like to do what we call an IT value model workshop. It's a one-day session. It's free of charge from VMware. It starts with we do a business IT alignment workshop where we go through what is the listed pains you see from the business, what are the IT problems connecting to that, and then we would discuss, okay, what IT capabilities would be needed to bridge the conversation you have with the business pains over to the IT outcomes. And then when we have listed the IT capabilities, then we can show the business this is the outcome you can expect if you team up with you as an IT team and with VMware. We have this session for in the morning, and then after lunch, then we will go in a room and configure and scope based on the solution builder. As we have 300-400 use cases at hand listed in our database with defined capabilities, then we will be able, after an hour to two, come back to you and go through our suggestions for solution elements, what packages could be needed to meet the capabilities, what would be the project duration estimate, and what are there any customization needed for particular problems at your site or the customer side. And then we agree on, is this valuable for you? Would you like to move on to a next step and show in deeper the impact, either to yourself, to your own management, or to your customer? And then we will, if all agree, then we will agree on a time and we will define a statement of work and draft commercials if that is interesting for you guys. So I hope you will see this as an interesting hands-out from VMware, that we would like to invest a day with you guys to see if there's some pain points at your end that we could help with you. I'll give you an example here how a whiteboarding session was done with a certain customer. Here you see the business goals on the left side. Here you see that one of the issues is to provide a secure platform, deliver cost savings, speed of delivery, growth with new services, and standardization. I think that resonates quite well for many of you as a service provider. And then we have listed what is the IT outcomes you need to deliver this, what is the challenges you see, and then of that we can find the capabilities in a second whiteboard. From this we can define a journey path. Here it was a case on a infrastructure as a service. So here we recommend if you go, you see yourself from being a virtual infrastructure, maybe you are close to a private cloud. Then there are certain steps in going from a virtual infrastructure to a private cloud. And then if the wish is to deliver more agile services with predefined services in a service catalog with chargeback and so forth, then you can move on to an infrastructure as a service. And here is what we can deliver in PSO against those subjects. And then you see on underneath, cybersecurity is a conversation which is part of this that will always be embedded in here based on our NXX technology. Any questions so far? All right, we move on. Yeah, here's the estimated project duration that we get from our solution builder. This is our main methodology, which is based on initiate, plan, execute on assess, design, deploy, and implement, with a final validation and knowledge transfer, and then we have a close. This is the methodology we use on every larger engagement based on a statement of work. And here's the summary of the work streams we have out of the solution builder, where you see the mandatory capabilities for each discipline. And then you see on the right corner, cybersecurity is an important part of that conversation, making sure that the private cloud we're going to build is safe and secure from a solution point of view. Okay, now I will jump to what I talked about, what could be of interest for you. This is our Center of Excellence in Sofia. There we do services where our consultants is placed just next to our R&D for automation and orchestration and operations. So that means our consultants is in the same house as the R&D facilities, and they actually also go have either experienced work with R&D or will sooner or later go to R&D, so they go on turnus every year or second year. So they will then get hands-on feeling with the product, working with customers on the products, with VCD and orchestration and operations. And then they go back to R&D based on all the experience they have with the customers and service providers, take that into the R&D and fine-tune the products and make them better based on customer experience. And what the guys here can do is they can deliver public-private hybrid clouds. They can deliver very specific integration and customizations for CMDB, for IPAM, for different monitoring tools, showback tools, etc. And they can also set up DevOps scenario, cloud native scenarios as well, where they are specialized in OpenStack and VMware's integrated containers. And they can provide, based on the work, the coding work they're doing, they can provide a professional support service, which goes hand in hand with our global support services. So they will be a prolonging arm for GSS for their specific code they have developed with the customers. So if there's an incident happening on the code, then the case will be routed directly to our Center of Excellence, and they will take care of that. And that works very well with our GSS, and they provide 24-hour support the whole year. So what is interesting for you is that we can make plugins for using VRO with different API calls, different API accesses to new services, and we will be able to do that on your VCD platform. And so that gives you a really good extensibility on the VCD platform, which gives you really good opportunities to customize your solutions as you like, If customers have some very specific solutions they requested, then you can also provide that with integration services from the COE team. And you can this is where you can differentiate yourself and create value-added services to your customers. And that goes, of course, hand in hand with our all VMware Cloud Provider program, which our consultants can make sure that the portfolio and the platforms listed here are well connected into the solution we will set up for your specific platform. So the journey model we see most of our service providers is the evolution from an infrastructure approach to an application-centric approach, and which is services-based. Is that we see that with the VCD platform we have, where also that integrated with vSAN and NXX, then we see how revenue could grow. Is when you develop your services with native infrastructure as a services to more advanced infrastructure as a service, remembering the journey model I showed you before, and then you can grow your business to X as a service or platform as a services, or even go for ambition of cloud native services, where you can make use of our container-based services. This is how we would like to support you and help you in driving more revenue from your customers, driving more value with your customers based on VMware technology and VMware services that can help you accelerating the revenue. And as I mentioned before, here's some infrastructure as a services can contain a service catalog where you have different elements going from monitoring as a services, network as a services, or backup as a services, or auto-scaling. So that could be some areas of conversation with you guys that we would see that could be of interest for you in the future. And then I will finalize it that we also provide X as a services or platform as a services, where we can go in and look at database as a service, application platforms, middleware services, and incident management with ServiceNow integration. That could be a subject. We do that quite frequently now with service providers that we help them integrate into ServiceNow. So that is our highlights on the COE, Center of Excellence, high quality, quick total country value, and 24 hours support. I think I've used my time, Annette, so if there are any questions, please do.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. Maybe we can ask, I don't know if anyone wants to answer this, but if you see as a service provider that this could be useful, what Tony has just presented, if there's any comments on that. Or else we maybe just move on to Tom to talk about TAM. But yeah, thank you very much, Tony. I thought it was really a lot of resources and valuable stuff for a service provider to use.
You're welcome.
And Tom?
Hi all, my name is Tom Bråten. I'm managing the TAM team out of the Nordics. Currently we are 9 TAMs working in Nordics, and we got a new guy coming in shortly, so we're staffing up to be able to serve you as good as possible. Tony already touched on some of the TAM parts, but I hope to give you a bit of better insight into the TAM program. And though it might seem while I present that it's geared towards enterprise customers, we work just as well with service providers. So if you have any questions on the way, just raise your hand, say something, unmute yourself, or if not, I will take questions when we're done. So let's see, I'll need to cover some of the buzzwords as well. We all hear a lot about the cloud and digital transformation, and while a while back we looked at those as buzzwords and no reality, so we have to consider them. Some find it exciting and challenging, others may look at it like a scary journey, like the one you see on the picture, and you might need some guidance to get safely there. VMware strive to present a strong strategy with a clear vision on how we want our customers to transform IT. But no matter how clear our vision is, customers' organizations aren't always ready for transformation. It may require more than systems and software to accomplish. So the VMware TAM is your co-pilot on the journey, giving you advice and direction, not only on technical matters, but also on strategy and design, as well as people and process. Especially that last part is very important now, and that's where we try to come in. Our TAMs have already been working with the customers through the different parts of this journey, and they can pull on experience not only from our internal resources, but across other customers and partners, all to better help you transform to meet tomorrow. So, the TAM. Reaching your business outcomes depends on running the IT initiatives that Tony touched on earlier that supports the digital transformation, and the TAMs are uniquely qualified to support through that journey. We also work through the IT value model, but since Tony already talked a lot about that, I won't cover that here now. Depending on your start point, the TAMs will first work with you to craft the strategies that optimally utilize IT to achieve those business goals. And to maximize your IT investments, the TAMs will blend the knowledge of current VMware offerings, products under development, and technology trends to help you select the products that best meet your needs. TAMs also provide fast access to specialized knowledge that helps you expedite issues and reduce the costs. And the last part is very important, analytics and growth. It's a key area, and TAMs also have access to specialized VMware analytics tools, as well as intellectual property, such as peer comparisons, to help you reach those goals. I guess I can go through this fast, but just stop me if I'm going too fast, and if you have any questions. So, about the TAM. We have 3 key roles in the TAM service. I'll take you through all of them so that you know the difference. We have the virtual technical account manager, the technical account manager, and the technical account specialist. It's important to know the difference, and aligning the right level for a customer is a function of organizational complexity, number of lines of business, and the size of VMware investment. The more complex and transformational, the more TAM presence is required. So we start at the tier 1 level, where we have 1 day a week. We're supporting customers in a combination of remote and on-site. And while many of our TAMs are strategically adept, they will usually more focus on technical challenges, since you only have 1 day a week, and that makes it less likely to be included on the strategic matters. However, when you move to tier 2, the enterprise TAMs, they are supporting the customers 2.5 days a week, and most ETAMs are on site 2 days a week on a regular basis, and then working a little bit remotely as well. The ETAMs will split their time between technical and strategic works, taking part in projects and cultivating close relationship with the local customer teams. And the last tier is what we call tier 3, which is a dedicated TAM. That's a full-time TAM working only with you as a customer, usually 4 days a week on site and then 1 day remote. The DTAMs, they work highly strategic as well as technical, as they are an integral part of the customer designs and management teams. So you have the 3 different sets of tiers there that can match the, let's say, the level of focus you have on our products. If you go further and you have bigger projects that are on one of our bigger areas, like NSX, Horizon, or vSAN, we also have the TAS, what we call a technical account specialist. They work only within one specialized area and will most likely complement the TAM that's already running on that account. But that can be a shorter engagement, like half year or a year, but they will guide you through the process of the bigger projects. For smaller customers, we have something we call a VTAM, which is more like your eye in the sky, a virtual TAM working for you remotely. That's 4 hours a week, so that's basically half a tier 1. The VTAM will work with you more or less on technical issues, help you on support and recommendations, and work with you to run the technical part of your implementation as well as possible. Mostly recommended for small, medium, so probably not for service providers and larger customers. Any questions on the levels of service? Very quiet. Okay. Once you engage a TAM, he or she will be your person in almost everything around VMware. And like you see on the picture there, we are positioned as a focal point between your organization and VMware, and we open up our whole organization to better assist your activities. So I'll go into more details about that. So as I just mentioned, we are in most cases your single point of contact. And I have sometimes heard large vendors being referred to as black holes. And one of the goals of the TAM is to make VMware more open and transparent to your business. So education is one of the key areas, and one of the bigger tasks we have as TAMs are mapping out your team's skill sets, helping you develop strong local knowledge around our solutions to be self-sufficient. We have unique tools to help us do this, and we also engage VMware Education to assess and train your teams. And as part of this, TAMs will also set up NDA roadmap sessions where there are relevant news coming to help customers plan for the future and build their own roadmaps. Best practices are ingrained in the TAMs, as most of us have a strong technical background. The TAMs will work with your teams not only to help you work by our best practices, but also use TAM tools to test your solutions against those best practices, making sure you're using our technology in the best way. I'll show you a little example of that a little later. While our TAMs have good big picture knowledge of all our products and services, sometimes we will need to bring in specialized resources to get you deeper insight into our products. So we regularly engage with system engineers and product management, and in some cases we will work directly with engineering on your behalf to achieve a desired outcome. Sorry, I just got the message stop sharing. Is it still there? Or? Anette?
It's still there.
Yeah, it's still there. Oh, sorry, you got a yellow message here, so I just had to check.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So licensing and reporting, as you know, are important. Our TAMs spend a lot of time in the My VMware portal. We regularly review your license portal to help make licensing easier, more streamlined for your teams, as well as considering the license levels to best match your needs. For cloud provider partners, we assist in your regular reporting with usage meter, and we also review your products against point bundles to optimize cost and functionality. So one of my most favorite parts are what we call special access. They are the part of TAMs we are particularly proud of and try to raise awareness on as much as possible. Our TAM customers always get special treatment, and we strive to tailor events and activities as useful as possible. Programs for TAM customers include things like the TAM Buddy program. I've been in that for several years. We connect an engineer on a certain product with the TAM directly to your team. So say, for instance, you are particularly interested in realize operations or VCD or anything, then we get an engineer who focuses only on that, and then we work together as a team. It's on a year-on-year basis. It doesn't cost anything, and you get first-hand help to change the product and sort out any issues that you may have. It's a perfect thing, especially for service providers who push our products to the boundaries. Complementing that, we also have our design partner program, where TAM customers are giving direct feedback to our product marketing and also affecting how the product is shaped in the future. All our local TAM teams regularly arrange TAM roundtables for our customers, where we will pick one new exciting subject for each event and bring in experts from around the world to discuss directly with you. An example of that is that next week in Oslo, we're having a full-day roundtable with an expert from Singapore on the realize operations, and we have many customers coming in to both talk to him and discuss among themselves to get better knowledge. And of course, at VMware, we have a host of activities each year, so I will cover that a little bit later. So support, that's also one of the things that we often get involved in right away. Getting the right support can be challenging, and though TAMs are not a part of our support system, it is our job to make sure you have the proper attention so you get timely resolutions. To that end, our TAMs cultivate strong relationships with support engineers and support managers, so we get the right attention when necessary. Sometimes it can be a bit trying to work with GSS, but we do our best and make sure that we improve time over time. So in a busy day, we see that your teams may not have the time to utilize the technology to the fullest of its potential. Maybe software is not as normal as a service provider, but we see that around here and there. They buy a product and they use it a little bit, but not fully. So that's where we will step in and advise on how to get the most out of the investment. For cloud providers, we not only help you use the core products in the right way, but we also assist you with new services, like the ones Tony talked about earlier, which for you can be used to sell extra services or solutions to your end customers. So there is a lot of fields we cover as TAM. I did this in a very short time, so I'm not expecting you to remember all, but we can come back to that later. Any questions on the services? No. Okay, so I mentioned VMware. We have a few things that we do every year at VMware. We have our TAM Customer Day. That's one full day packed with content only for TAM customers. Nobody else is admitted. And especially one of the most popular activities the last couple of years are the expert tables, where we have small groups of 10 to 12 people and one expert. You can discuss your own cases, you can hear about new stuff, and you get first-hand feedback on whatever you ask. Connected to that, we have TAM Customer Central, but it's a place which is open through the whole event, the whole week, and again, accessible only by the TAM customers. That's where you can attend small sessions with subject matter experts, product managers, other tech leaders, learning more about popular topics and NDA roadmaps as well, since all TAM customers have an NDA. The TAM Lounge is in the same area, where you can rest your legs and talk to other TAM customers. After all, as I say, peace and quiet are a rare commodity at VMware. It's nice to be able to relax for an hour now and then and get some input at the same time. In the same lounge, you can also enjoy coffee with an SME, where we have experts coming in regularly every 2 hours or so, where you can sit down, have a coffee or a cold drink, and just discuss any topics of special interest to you with that SME. And we also do the VIP tours of the hands-on labs. If you've been to VMware, you know that we have a huge lab area, and the TAM customers are also invited to do the tours there to get behind the scenes and learn more about what our hands-on labs are doing. So, cloud providers. We have several TAMs now currently engaged with cloud providers across Nordics, both Tier 1 and Tier 2. And the priorities are clear across the board: automation, security, and product influence. I hope this resonates with you as well. Automation is key for any service provider. Onboarding new customers are made efficient. Day 2 operations can be carried out by all staff. And from VMware, we know that having access to open APIs are crucial. So we work with you to improve our products daily. It's not a process that gets solved in one day, but we take all the input back and we do whatever we can to make this more open for you. But without a highly secure platform, you cannot serve individual customers on the same infrastructure, taking away flexibility and cost efficiency. So as security also needs to just be another step in the automation process, VMware makes sure to have products like NSX, which have the open APIs to let you automate with your chosen tools. If you use our direct tools or you use your own, you will still be able to do the same things. And I talked earlier about customers having the ability to influence product roadmaps through direct communications with product management and engineering. Our provider partners are some of the most vocal contributors to this, as enterprise products not always fit straight into the provider model. Our jobs as TAMs are to connect you with our resources, drive those activities, and make sure we get progress where we can. So that's where we tailor for the service providers. So, any questions? Did I go through so fast that you didn't get anything? There's one thing I'd like to highlight of our deliverables. We have a set of deliverables, which I won't touch on all of them now, but we have especially one that we call Customer Intelligence, which I personally find extremely interesting. We use this tool quarterly with our customers, where we collect platform metrics, which we take back and analyze that data, and then come back to the customer and try to maximize the investment. The TAM Intelligence will clearly show over-under provisioning, missing patches, patch strategies, security issues, constraints, or other problems. And these reports are a really good talking point to improve on the platforms. So we use that data to discuss operational actions and planning for future changes. And the output from this tool often surprise people with new information that they previously didn't know. And even if they had insight into it, it usually gives a very good conversation that opens up other stuff. So the other deliverables we're working with are things like best practices. It's Tony, through PSO, are delivering something we call health checks, which are really thorough, deep-going health checks into the whole environment. We can do something we call a best practice review from the TAM side, where we do a little lighter version of it and just check towards our best practices. And then we have a conversation afterwards to see why we deviate from them. And then as a TAM, we have different types of deliverables, like a business review every 6 months. We have status reports, and we can do a capability assessment of your company. So those are tools that we use throughout the year when it fits the customer and it makes sense. So that was my presentation for today. I'm sure there are more I can say, or I could have said less, but if there are any questions, feel free to unmute and ask.
I actually have a question here from maybe on behalf of the others, but how, if you see this and you wanna get going with this, what is the steps to the process from here?
Yeah. So basically, to get a TAM engagement, that's what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that the best way would be to reach out to your account manager from VMware. I'm not sure if all the providers here have a named account manager. Line, maybe you can fill me on that. But Line and Ina, for instance, from Norway, can help you get in touch with the right people there. So that's the best place to start. If not, you can also give my information out, and they can contact me directly, and I will make sure they get follow-up.
Yeah, comment from me, and you can just contact your aggregators as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And Tom, that's the Tony, that's the same for the PSO part.
Yes, indeed.
Please reach out to Arrow, and if you have any questions that we could give back to you, Tom and Tony. And if you want to get started with anything of these, yeah, reach out to us and we'll find a way. So, thank you very much, Tony and Tom. Yeah, and thank you for listening and have a great weekend when you get to that.